Is this thing on? Welcome to Rebooted the Podcast. I'm your host, Alida Hernandez. Come join me weekly to hear about my journey from recovery to healing after having a stroke and other life challenges. So let's get talking.
This is Alida Hernandez from Rebooted the Podcast, and today I'm super excited to be here with Delerice Tehrani, correct?
Tehrani.
Tehrani, I'm sorry. Say it wrong
You
again.
are
Tehrani,
you
I'm
are
really bad with
fine.
names, so
I can be bad with names too, so no worries.
it's an honor to have you here, Mrs. Florida Galaxy. So you went from
Yes, yes.
beauty queen to life coach. So you have to tell me about that and about you. So let everybody know who you are.
I'm Delerice Tehrani. I'm the reigning Mrs. Florida Galaxy 2023, and I'll be competing at nationals this August. So I'm very excited about that. Aside from that, I am a counselor by profession and a certified life and relationship coach. So I like everything to do with helping people. In all honesty, um, nothing makes me happier than seeing others obtain their life's goals. So I enjoy what I do. I love, 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 love helping people.
So let's see. Let's go from how did you start in the beauty queen arena?
Well, I have an identical twin, and the funny story is she signed up for a beauty pageant, and I just kind of tagged along. I was like, "Girl, I don't know if I'm getting into this, but I'm going to go and support you." And it turned into, this journey of me being the supporter, just going to these pageants with my twin and supporting her. And one day she looked at me and she's like, "Why aren't you competing? You're beautiful. You have, a message to share, and you're always here." So I said, um, in competing, I think my shift towards actually deciding that I would compete was once I learned that it was more to pageantry than just wearing the beautiful gown, wearing the beautiful crown. It was about giving back. It was really about spreading a message and connecting with women from all over the world. And I loved that side of pageantry that I hadn't really been able to witness, just watching it on TV. Being able to go with my twin, I saw just how wonderful the girls were, how accomplished they were, and that they all were there for a reason, not just because they wanted this beautiful crown and sash, but because they had a message that they wanted to share with the world. And that's what made me decide to go into pageantry. And through pageantry, I've learned so much about myself. I've been able to evolve as a person, as a speaker, as it does really teach you to speak in front of people comfortably. It teaches you how to dress, how to carry yourself. So there's a lot more good in pageantry that I think a lot of people don't see.
Yeah, I believe that's true because I was in a pageant long, long, long time ago. And there was so much that you had to do because you have to know the questions, you have to understand
Right.
like, what's going on in the world, you have to
Uh-huh.
know what you want to do. So it's like all these different things. And as a young
Hmm.
woman, you're like 20 years old or something. Well,
Right.
a lot of times when you start, you're still learning who you are. So
Exactly. And I think what I liked most about when I started was the fact that it gave me a place to share my brother's story. I have a brother that was tragically struck and killed by a driver that was texting and driving.
mm,
And I made up my mind very early throughout that tragedy that I wanted to ensure that my brother's name, his memory lived on through some kind of way. And pageantry has given me that platform. I've been able to go to, I mean, so many places that I probably would not have gone had it not been for pageantry, and been able to educate people, young women, young men, children, and men, old and young, on the dangers of texting while driving. So I love that it does give us a place to share our platform. And I was able to grace many stages and share that story. And I'm excited about being able to go to nationals in August because there's going to be women from all over the world that I'll be able to also share the message in regards to the fact that texting while driving doesn't just injure people, it really does take lives.
yeah, it does. And I think more and more people need to understand that. I see it every day.
Hmm.
You probably see it too. You're driving, you see somebody
Oh, yeah.
speeding around, and you look, and they're on their phone. And I mean, some people even FaceTime when they're on the phone. They're
Yeah.
driving with the, yeah, how you doing? What are you doing?
hey, showing their background. And,
Exactly.
I'm going to be honest with you. I did not understand the severity and the seriousness of texting while driving. I didn't understand just how dangerous it was until it hit my front door. And it hitting my front door just completely changed my whole outlook in regards to you're driving in a car. You need to be focused on the road, not on a text, not on anything other than getting to your destination safely. So, sometimes, unfortunately, we do things because we're not educated in regards to why we shouldn't do something. So my message has been about educating people, letting people know that this is serious, that it is the number one the number one cause of teenage deaths in the US. Like,
Mm,
it's taking the lives of children daily. Not
yeah.
only was my brother a child, but the person that hit him was also a child, as he was only 18 years old.
Oh,
So it was a tragedy all around, in all honesty. And I think that if I can just, you know, give that message to one, two, three people, that I've done my service in regards to spreading the word and honoring my brother. So I'm just grateful. I hate that it happened, and I wish that, I could take it back and I could go back and erase it, but I can't. This
right.
is my life every day, and I want it to, I don't want it to be someone else's life. So that's why I'm so dedicated in regards to sharing the message.
How old was your brother when this happened?
12. He was 12. He was coming
12.
from the park with his friends. Yes, and the driver was texting, so he wasn't paying attention. There was about 10 of them walking on the sidewalk, and his car actually rolled on the curb, and he was speeding. Not only was he driving and texting, he was speeding. He was speeding. So that's what it does. It really does distract you, that you're not paying attention. And the text message that he sent after he hit my brother was, "I think I hit something." He didn't
Oh,
even know that he hit a person.
oh my goodness.
The message was, "I think I hit something." And unfortunately, I still struggle with texting till this day because of that. It's a trigger for me, and it's work in process, progress, excuse
Right.
me. I am, taking it one day at a time, but I'm very triggered by texting till this day.
Yeah, I could imagine. So that's not. It's very unpleasant, and we see it every
Yeah.
day. And it really needs to be. I think that education needs to start young. I think it needs to be in
Yeah.
the schools because I grew
Especially because we live in such a social media savvy world now. When we were growing up, it wasn't about the phone.
up.
Now people are 8 with a phone.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a whole nother subject about children with phones too soon too. That's also another thing. But yeah, the children need to be educated because they grew up in technology. So
Uh-huh.
I grew up in an era we had no cell phones. So as a child, at 16 years old, I didn't have a cell phone. You're lucky you had a house phone that you would run home to make a phone call. You would tell people, call me at 4:30. I'll be home.
Right, right,
That
right.
was the only time you could talk to them.
And if you miss that call, you just missed that call.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, I missed the call. You would cry all day waiting, especially if you were waiting to go on a date or something. Like, oh, I
Right,
missed the call or whatever it is. Nowadays, everybody's too immediate. Everything is
right,
immediate, and that's the issue. And again, it's like, what is so urgent that you can't wait till you get to an exit or you park to send somebody a message? I don't think anything is that urgent.
right.
Unless you're calling 911 for yourself, I think that's the only reason you would be using the phone.
I agree. I agree. I totally agree.
But I hear congratulations. Did you just come back from maternity leave also?
I did. I did. I have, well, not recently, but she's
Okay.
one, so she's still a baby. And motherhood has been different. It's been exciting. I learned something new about myself and about my daughter every day. So I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I'm just
Oh,
so
that's
glad.
congratulations. So is that the only daughter? Or do you have other children?
Yes, this is my first and only one for now. Hopefully, I can have more in the future. My journey to motherhood was not an easy one. That's another thing we don't talk about enough as women.
Mm,
Just how hard that journey of motherhood really is. That all of us don't get pregnant because we're blowed on, and we have this magical pregnancy. Some of us really do struggle. I struggled so badly with fertility. And I thought that my end goal, excuse me, I thought that in the end I would have to go through the fertility treatment. And believe it or not, 3 miscarriages after my daughter, I
Oh,
went and finally sat into a fertility clinic, and I went through all of the testing, and I was literally 1 week away from starting my fertility journey as it pertains to taking the medication and doing all of those necessary things prior to getting pregnant. And my husband looked at me and he said, "Hey, you know what? Let's just try this on our own one more time. Let's trust God in this. Let's pray, and let's see if God allows us to do it on our own." That one more time, we got pregnant with our daughter. So
yeah.
sometimes you just never know how God will work and why he does things, but all we know is that his will and his plan for our life is a good plan, so we have to trust it. And in trusting it, we end up getting pregnant, and the pregnancy wasn't easy, but gratefully I was able to carry her full term. And I'm so grateful for for this opportunity to be a mom. I really am. I tell people all the time, through the crying, the late nights, I smiled through it all because it was a point in my life where I didn't even know if I was going to be a mom. So I'm just grateful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome because, like you said, a lot of women struggle out there. I have two
Yeah,
sons.
silently.
I have two sons, 22 and 27. Well, he'll be 27 this month now. So
Oh wow.
my two boys are men already.
Wow. Wow. You
Yeah.
don't even look like you have 27-year-old.
Thank you, thank you. I actually just turned 58 years old.
Oh, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
58. Wow.
So,
I pray
yeah.
I look that young.
Thank you. I'm trying, working out every day. But so tell me a little bit about your now you're a certified coach, and I know you do marriage and single coaching. And so
Mhm.
tell me a little bit about that.
Well, years ago, I would no one could have paid me to believe that I would be teaching relationship seminars and classes, and offering the Proverbs 31 wife masterclass or mentorship, because I didn't always have the model marriage, so to speak, or the marriage or relationship that I was proud of. Unfortunately, I went through a long season of failed relationships, kissing frog after frog after frog. And so finally hitting a brick wall and realizing that my issue was within myself, that there was something that I was doing wrong, why I kept attracting the same kind of men, different names, different body build, but the same kind of man. And when we start going through that cycle that we can't seem to get out of in regards to failing over and over at something, we have to take accountability in regards to our flaw in the relationship failure. And I really had a okay God moment, and God really revealed to me that there was some things that I hadn't dealt with in regards to brokenness, and needing to heal from daddy issues, why I had been battling rejection. And people, rejection, oh my God, you battle rejection. I think that the biggest mistake people make about persons who battle rejection is that they are a person who isn't accomplished, or they're a person who doesn't have themselves put together well. You can be beautiful, you can be well dressed, well spoken, and you can still be depressed. You can still battle with rejection. You can still battle with self-esteem if you don't heal from past trauma, if you don't heal from childhood issues. And I realized that I needed to go through a journey of healing and just talking to God. And I had a moment of realizing that I had some hidden pain, but in recognizing that hidden pain, I was able to give birth to something so special, so beautiful, which is the mentorship class that I teach now, and the marriage ministry class that I teach now. I didn't teach it right away because I did the work within myself first. That's the point in regards to revealing. Sometimes when God reveals something to us, is that we need to know when it's for us first and then to teach later. So I went through that. Okay, God, this is for me. But when I heal, I'm going to teach this class to about maybe 10 girls. I laughed and told God, maybe 10 girls. Fast forward, I launched a class. after years of getting myself together, doing the work, going to school so that I could have the necessary degrees so that I'm not just teaching this from a, oh, I lived it place, but also from a book knowledge place as well. And I launched my class. The first class sold out. I had 60 women. Fast forward now, every time I teach a class, I have 100 plus women, and I'm now coaching and mentoring women from all over the world in South Africa, Nigeria, Canada, the UK, Jamaica, Bahamas, and of course, all over the US. And I'm just so grateful to God that my story didn't end with me going through the failed relationships and just stopping at failed relationship. I'm grateful that I didn't allow toxic relationships to become a normal thing for me, that I knew that something was wrong and that I needed to do work within myself so that I could obtain a healthy, happy relationship. No relationship is perfect, of course, but you can obtain one that is healthy and happy. And I dedicate most of my free time to helping women obtain and maintain God-fearing, happy, healthy relationships.
That's awesome. And so many women don't realize that the patterns. And I was in that state like a long time ago, like 10 years
Uh-huh.
ago. I was in that same state of going, how come I keep meeting these guys and they're like they just look different, different name, but they're the same.
But they're the
And then
same.
I realized that I was the one who was putting it out there, right?
Uh-huh.
I was the one who was going. I had to change. I had to change myself in order
Uh-huh.
to change who I was going to go out with, because I needed to, forgiveness and a
Right.
lot of the other things that you have to work on as yourself. That as women we don't realize it because we give
Yep.
so much to people. We have our children, we're our daughters, we're sisters. So we give so much for others that we
Absolutely.
forget about taking care of ourselves, and then that affects our relationships. But that's awesome. You have really accomplished a lot in your life in a short time.
I
It's
know.
awesome. And I know your faith in God keeps you going, and that's one of your principal things that you really hone in on as well, right?
Hmm.
Having faith in God and
Yes,
helping people.
absolutely. I don't force my religion on people and I don't force people to believe in God or a higher power, but I do believe that through everything that I've faced, from losing my brother, from going through, those hard seasons of fertility issues with miscarrying and all those different things I've had to encounter, I believe that without my faith, I would not have overcome them. So I do tell people that the importance of believing in God is just unmatched, in my opinion. For me, I know that I would not have made it through all of the things that I had gone through without my relationship with God, without prayer, without faith, and of course without good people too. But my faith has kept me grounded.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, and it's wonderful that you want to help other people out there and achieve the same goals, and and be a better person. Basically, we're
Hmm.
trying to help other women to understand where they're at and how they can move forward for a better life, and that's all we want to
Right.
do, right? It's
Absolutely. Because I think that a lot of women um, think that certain things are not possible because maybe their mom didn't do it or their sisters didn't do it. So
So we're back. We took a short little break here, and we're back with Delarice. And we've been talking about her incredible career here. She has gone. She's a mother. She's a beauty pageant. She's a life coach. She's very spiritual. I mean, there's so much. You have a long list here. You can help so many women out there. So, is there like I don't know, like a quick tip you want to tell like women out there, like they're in a marriage and they're having, I don't know how what kind of questions people come in and ask you like when they're having marriage issues. Is there like a top question that like everybody has or
yes,
something?
I think there's two things that I hear a lot in regards to married marital issues. One of the main, I think, questions that I get asked is a relationship repairable after infidelity?
Mm,
Um, it's a big one. And I say to couples that have experienced infidelity, yes, it is repairable. However, both parties need to be willing to put in the work. Aside from that, the person who's been cheated on has to be willing to forgive, because staying and not forgiving ends up being so much more worse than people could imagine. When you stay because of loyalty, or you stay because you think you should stay, and then you never forgive that person. So it's a marriage that is constantly in turmoil because you can't let go of the infidelity. You're always bringing it up, and then you become a nag, you become a crab, you become very unconfident in the marriage itself. So that causes you to become insecure. And so being able to forgive is key for the person that has been cheated on. Aside from that, being willing to start over like this is a completely new relationship. Although you had probably been together 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, you have to start over like you are meeting for the first time, get to learn each other's likes, dislikes, triggers, because we do change as time goes on. And I think a lot of people don't take that into consideration, that I am not the same woman my husband met 9 years ago. I'm a different woman. I'm a mother. I think about life completely different, having experienced just life itself. Not even sometimes the issues that go on in our marriage changes us. Sometimes just life itself changes you. So knowing that you're not the same every year, you change. Another question that I get asked a lot about relationships is, how do we stay happy and healthy over a certain amount of time? As people like to call the honeymoon stage the best time in marriage. You can have that honeymoon experience for life, but you do have to work to keep that honeymoon feeling. And when I say work, I don't like for marriage to sound like a job, but it is a job. It is something that you have to work at daily, making yourself happy so you can make this person happy as well, because you are not responsible for their happiness, but you should be adding to it, not depleting their happiness. So finding ways to make each other happy, to make the relationship exciting, exploring new things together, maybe taking up a new hobby together. Sometimes it's very exciting, especially for those that have had kids and now your kids are out of the nest, they're grown. You find yourself in a place of, what do we do now? We were raising these kids for 18 years now. We're alone. What do we do? You learn each other over again. You find ways to fall in love with each other over and over each year. That's the way to obtain a healthy, happy marriage. You cannot love each other the same way that you loved each other 2 years ago. You have to love each other harder and stronger throughout the years of marriage. That's how you stay happy and healthy.
That's unbelievable. And most people, we don't go through coaching, or we don't know about it when we were younger.
That's another thing too. I tell people all the time, be okay with getting marriage counseling or coaching. Stop going to these friends, and nothing against friends, but our friends don't always hold the successful advice. They don't always obtain the sound shifting advice. Sometimes our friends give advice that will shift us out of our marriage or shift us away from our spouse. Because why? They love us. So whatever we say is going to be right. Whatever we want is going to be the thing that they're supporting. If you don't have a friend that can give you black and white, girl, you wrong, bro, you wrong advice, you need to shut the door to those kind of friendships in regards to marriage. And I always tell people, when you give a friend, an opportunity to know what's going on in your marriage, you give them a voice in your marriage. And that's never something that you want to do. The only people that have a voice in your marriage is you, your spouse, and God, if you look to a higher power for spiritual advice. But other than that, talking to your girlfriends and your family members about your relationship advice, marital issues, only gives them the opportunity to now have a voice in a marriage that they're not a part of.
And
So knowing how to keep your family members out of your relationship is important as well. It's imperative in regards to having a relationship that lasts. Also, because we know how to forgive our friends. We don't know how to forgive Johnny that hurt Jennifer, though, because Johnny isn't our friend. Jennifer is. So when we're happy with John again, Jennifer, come on. Your friend gonna be looking at you like, girl, you took him back. I still don't like him.
That's true. So then now your friends are judging your relationship instead of you dealing with your relationship. That's why I always tell women, don't talk your business outside. It's nobody's business what goes on.
It's nobody's business.
It's nobody's business. Between a partner, your partner, whoever that is, that's between you and that partner. And that's what
absolutely.
You have to
absolutely.
And now we have there's so many people like you know, different coaches out there and different, you know, areas that people can get help. So that's the thing that people understand. Please go out there, get some help. You know, relationships are so important, and a husband and wife is very important. I wish I knew all the stuff that I've learned the last couple of years. I wish I knew when I was younger, because I got married at 23 years old, was married 16 years, I had 2 kids, and then we separated. We got divorced. And I think about it now, going, oh, we were so young when we got married that by the time when I got divorced at like 40, 23 to 40, I was totally different. And now I'm a different person.
I can imagine, because what we believe and what we know to be the gospel at 23, we look back at 40 and we're like, what was I thinking?
Exactly.
I look back at my 20-year-old self all the time and I'm like, oh my God, what was wrong with her?
Yeah, because we didn't have we had guidance, but we didn't have, you know, the correct guidance or the correct people in our lives, and we follow too much of our friends. Oh, she's, oh no, he's no good. He did this to you, girl. Don't go with him again. He's good. You know, they start giving you all this stuff, so you start building the picture in your brain. So you start building that movie in your brain. Oh, he's gonna cheat on you again, and all this stuff, right? So by the time he doesn't even do it, but you already got the picture going so much that it's gonna happen because you're already manifesting that, you know. Also, so you have to like stop, you know, and really know and pray and meditate on what you want, you know, in your relationship, and how you can get as a better person so you can add to that relationship. So that's great. I hope that those 2 things here, people will resonate with that and they'll think about it. And I'll have all your information, your website, and your social media on there. So everybody, if you want to contact Delerice, she has her website and all her social media. I'll post that. So please reach out to her. She's available for coaching and many other things. And she has a book also. We even talk about the book. So she has a book, she's published, and she's out there to help other women out there in other relationships.
I just love everything to do with helping people. As I said before, nothing is more gratifying than helping women accomplish their life goals. It's hard out there for women. It really is. And I'm not a feminist, but I just, as a woman, I know it really is hard. Life can get so hard if we don't have the proper support or mentorship or guidance or just counseling sometimes. And I think that we're getting to a space in life now where people are comfortable getting help. So if you're watching and you're thinking about getting help, or you were wondering about getting help, no age should limit you in regards to getting help. I think sometimes people think once I've hit 30 or 40, that's it. I counsel women who are 50, 60, 70. I have women of all ages that come to me for counseling, and there's never a perfect time to start counseling than now.
Right. Especially when you're going through things. Unfortunately, most people are going through a situation and they go, oh, now I need counseling. But it's good to start early.
Or before, prior to getting in the issue. Maintenance. I always tell people, even premarital counseling, I don't think, should stop at premarital counseling. Let's have premarital counseling, but let's continue with maintenance counseling after getting married. Having that sound voice that saw you throughout the journey of dating, courting, getting married, and childbirth, and everything else that married people have to deal with on their own. You have this person with you that is a sound voice that loves your marriage. I always tell people, make sure the people that you're taking advice from love your marriage, want to see you succeed, want to see you in a successful, healthy, happy marriage. And if you're connected with someone like that through your counseling, why stop that at premarital counseling?
So we got some good stuff today for our listeners out there about coaching and counseling and things that you can do in your life to make a better life. Make a better life for you, for your partner, and for your family. So because
one thing I know for certain is when you have a healthy, solid marriage or relationship, it does set up a healthy flow in regards to life in general. I found out only recently, even through doing some studies and some research, that most men that are married have more successful lives. Women know how to obtain success alone, but studies have proven that men that are married have more successful lives than men who are single. So men, this is for you too. This isn't just limited to women. Men, get a good counselor and stick with one. Maintain a healthy, happy relationship and stick with it.
Yeah. And no stigma. There's no stigma in doing that. So that's what people understand. It's going to be a healthier you and a healthier person for another person, because we have so much preconditioned stuff in our subconscious from childhood that we have no idea all the garbage that's stuck in there.
I agree.
So, but I appreciate all your time, and you gave me some time today, and I wish you all the luck and success in your continued career, and congratulations with your daughter, you said, right?
Yes.
So many blessings to you and your family.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
So everybody, thank you very much for watching Rebooted the podcast today. We had a really nice candid conversation with Delerice Tehrani, and I will put all her information so you can reach her if you would like to choose her as a life coach. And just look out there and see what you can do to better your life and better your relationships. So have a great week. Thank you. See you next week. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, all locations, YouTube, Facebook, Google, Apple, everything. Please subscribe down there, somewhere down there, and click a like on it too so we can continue doing these shows. I appreciate it. And wow. Oh, she disconnected. Okay. I don't know what happened.
Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Rebooted the Podcast to learn about each episode's guests and topics. This is your host, Alida Hernandez. See you next Tuesday.